whenever you're asked to evaluate an expression, or you have several operations, you need to follow the order of operation rules. Now, these ones also have exponents, but you can remember this PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I know a lot of you have already heard of that. So it's just a quick reminder that you always do what's in parentheses first, and then you do your exponents second, and then multiplication and division you do next, and you do that from left to right. And addition and subtraction you do together last, from left to right. Okay, so when you have a problem like this, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to evaluate the top part like it's in a parentheses and the bottom part as if it was in a parentheses. So when you're looking at just this top part up here, you have subtraction and you have exponents. So you need to do the exponent up here first, and then you can do the subtraction. So you would have 1 minus 5 to the third, and that would be 5 times 5 is 25, and 25 times 5 would be 125. Minus 2. Now this is like having a big parentheses here. And so then I'm just going to kind of simplify this top part here. So then you're going to work from left to right. So you're going to have 1 minus 125, which would be a negative 124, and then you're going to subtract 2 from that. Now remember, some of you may have done this, but whenever I'm subtracting and I'm dealing with negatives, I like to change my subtraction to addition and change the sign of the number on the right. I like to call this zip zip, because if you make one change, you have to change the other. Okay, change addition to subtraction, you have to change the sign of the number on the right. So this is the same as adding a negative 2. So right here I'm going to go ahead and I can simplify this. A negative 124 plus a negative 2 is the same thing as a negative 126. Okay, so now let's simplify the denominator. Now you can see here in the denominator, again, that's like having a separate parentheses here, so we can solve these. And you have exponents, you have this parentheses here, but there's nothing inside of it, so it's just to let you know that this negative 1 is squared. So you have subtraction and exponents to do. So you know that you have to do exponents before you add and subtract. So let's do that first. So 4 to the third, that's 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. And then you're going to subtract. And this is a negative 1 squared. So a negative 1 times a negative 1 is a positive 1. So we have 64 minus 1, which simplifies to 63. And so you're left with a negative 126 over 63. Now I can see that these are both even, well, this one's not an even number, so I know I can't divide these by 2. A quick thing you can check to see if you can simplify this by 3 or 9 is to add up the digits. So for example, you add up 6 plus 3, and that gives me 9, and I can divide 9 by 3 or 9. So I know I can divide this number by 3 or 9. And you can do the same thing with 126. 6, 7, 8, 9. So all the digits add up to 9. So I know I can simplify this by dividing both of these by 9. And so I'm going to take 126 and divide it by 9. So this is going to give me a negative 14. And then we know that 63 divided by 9 is 7. And I can see that negative 14 and 7, I can divide both of those by a 7, so that's going to leave me with a negative 2 over 1, or negative 2. So you can see you can simplify this by using order of operations, and then when you have a fraction, use your simplification rules for that. Let me give you another 2 quick examples here. So remember, no parentheses, so we go straight to the exponents. And there's not a parentheses around the 9 over 3, so the exponent only applies to the 9. And this negative is not included in that. So this is a negative 81, so it's just 9 times 9. So that's 81 over 3, minus 2 minus, I'm going to do this 4 squared, which is 16. So I've evaluated my exponents. And then we remember we have multiplication and division to do after that, and you go from left to right. There's only one thing here, and that's division. So negative 81 divided by 3 is going to give you a negative 27 minus 2 minus 16. Now, just like I did in the last problem, I would change these subtractions since you're dealing with negatives here. Change the subtraction to addition, change the sign of the number on the right. So I'm going to do that for both of these. So you can think of that as zip, 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 zip. Okay, so now go ahead and you have a negative 27 plus a negative 2, which is going to give you a negative 29, plus a negative 16. And so that's going to give you a negative 45. And then one more example. On this problem here, you see you have parentheses, so you do the operations following the order of operation rules inside of your parentheses. Well, you only have one operation, so that makes it easy. It's 4 times 2 is 8. So we're going to have 8 squared here. Rewrite everything so you can see what it looks like still. So now I see what I have left is I'm going to do exponents next. So 2 minus, and this minus is not included in this 1. There's no parentheses around it, so it's just 1, positive 1 raised to the third power. So 1 times 1 times 1 is 1, plus 8 squared, that's 8 times 8 is 64. Now we can work from left to right. We only have addition and subtraction left, so we're going to work from left to right. So we do 2 minus 1 first, which is 1, plus 64. 1 plus 64 is 65. Now it's important to remember the order of operations lets us know what order we perform these operations. If you perform them in a different order, you're going to get a different answer, and it doesn't have the same value. So that's a lot of times what you're going to do in math is try to keep the same value. So you can see if I would have added 64 and 1 together, that would have given me 65. 2 minus 65 would not give me the same answer that I got here.